Dear respected Thầy, dear Sister Trang Khong, dear Sister Trang Đức, dear brothers, sisters, and dear Sangha, today is a beautiful day. This morning, Lower Hamlet was very misty. Since yesterday until now, in me, there's been a lot of preparation for this Dharma talk today, and I try to remain silent. I try to avoid verbal communication with people. And this morning, I woke up early, and I was sitting in my corner with the thought of like revising my ideas for sharing today for the Dharma talk today. And there were many different ideas that came up, and they came up a lot. And after a while, I opened my eyes. In front of me, there was a very gorgeous morning sunshine. Also, the mist. I don't know why the mist this morning. I could see the palace with range of trees, and the mist was covering the whole scenery, and I could see the trees in the very like unclear but beautiful. And I tried to get in touch deeply with the mist, with the scenery of the morning. And I noticed the trees like having layers out of different layers of height. And it was in awe. Wow, the nature is reminding me to be in touch with nature. The earth and the sky are offering me their beauties while I was wrapped up in preparing my Dharma talk. So thanks to that reminder, it helped me to be back to myself and to enjoy that moment, to really appreciate that moment. This cosmos was what the cosmos was trying to offer to me, asking me to go back, to return to the present moment. I really enjoy looking at the sceneries around me and see how are they moving. Sometimes with the sunrise, sometimes with the sunset, sometimes just by looking into a little candle, seeing the way that it is lit up the light and the way and how they turns off the light. So in me, just by those simple practice, there's always a thought in me like um, I noticed like just a few days ago you carried your luggage arriving in Upper Hamlet, and many of us we travel from far away. We come from far away, and tomorrow the thing is like I will see you carrying your luggage to leave the village, and 1 week passes by very quickly and surprisingly, and I can't imagine the 1 week passes by so quick. Do you have that feeling? Please raise a hand. Like 1 week passes by very quickly. Yeah, many of us have the same experience. So actually, time in Plum Village passes by very quickly. We don't know why. Even us who are staying here, we have the same feeling. We have the same experience. It's just like we were preparing our summer retreat, but now the summer retreat is over. Now we are about to enter the the, the, the rain retreat, and you know it will one it's just a blight. We will see that the three-month retreats will will be over. Why is so quick the time passes by when we are in upper in Plum Village? Because every day here, every time, every day, every hour, we have the capacity to generate happiness right here. And the joy, the happiness make us pass our day, go through our day with a lot of lightness, a lot of uh, ease. And when we back to our family, we will be busy with different things that happen in our daily life, and sometimes we feel like a day goes by in the mm, in the so long. The day is just so long when we are in a family sometimes. So over here we have we are surrounded by friends who share the same aspiration to generate happiness and peace. That's why somehow my perception, that is something that we see, that makes us see that the day passes by quickly. So for us, receiving you here, practicing with us is a jewel, is a precious jewel for us. We call it the teaching on dwelling happily in the present moment. When you come here and join us, you can leave behind the difficulties of your outside life, and you come here, you enjoy and you appreciate every moment of practice with the sangha, and we don't have to do anything. We just we just train ourselves to be able to release, to let go the our projects, our business from the outside. As long as we have that capacity of letting go, we touch peace. So this is a first gift that Plum Village could offer us. I know that in our sangha, we will bring home uh, the treasures that we pick up here and there in Plum Village. So in Plum Village there are different treasures. We will discover ourselves to bring home, and each of us we have our own treasures. As long as we can make the peaceful steps, then those peaceful steps are our treasures that we can bring home. And we can apply those treasures by from parking lot to our work office, to from parking lot to our flat, for example. We know how to enjoy a meal at home in mindfulness, and we can ask our family members after we return back from Plum Village to spend like 5-10 minutes eating in silence, things like that. And there's another thing which is also very important, very precious, that everybody when comes to Plum Village, it is it is always mentioned all the time. All the activities will be mentioned about this practice. I wonder, do we know this practice? What is that tip that is always mentioned? That is our mindful breathing. We heard a lot about this practice every time before any activity. We always ask people to return to our breathing. Brothers and sisters always share with us how to breathe in such a way that there's a peace in us possible. We breathe in the way that we can return to the present moment. So today, in this space, in this powerful energy of the sangha, of the fourfold sangha, I would like to invite all of us to practice this practice of basic mindful breathing. Since we arrived to Plum Village, or our friends who have been practicing with us for a long time, we will together practice this exercise again. And it is powerful to practice together in this very moment as the fourfold sangha is gathered, and we can check the quality of our practice, of our mindful breathing practice. Um, have we understood enough our breathing? Are we able to feel how mindful we are when we breathe? And so being together and breathe like this, it is the way we deepen our quality of breathing. So in this very moment, we allow ourselves to enjoy our breathing and see how they are when we breathe, when we make it, when we make the breath. And so my experience on mindful breathing is that when I breathe in from the beginning, when I first encounter the practice, I know that when I breathe in, I know that I am breathing, and the same with the out breath. And we can navigate our attention into our abdomen. For the in breath, we notice that our abdomen is rising, and the out breath, our abdomen falling. But after a while of practicing mindful breathing, we have certain depth in our mindful breathing. We can go deeper, and we have to feel the in breath clearer, and we have to feel the out breath clearer. We feel immediately the 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 in breath happening through our nose. We feel a little bit of coolness that is happening inside of our nose, and the same with the out breath. We feel the coolness happening inside of our nose. So, and we just practice that. We do we feel do we have enough attention or the depth in our awareness on our breathing. And we don't have to really focus on the length of the in breath or the out breath. As long as our in breath is long, we are aware that it's long. When it's short, we're just aware that it's short. And we feel our in breath like coming through our body, going coming into our body through the nose, and we enjoy the coolness that is happening inside of the nose. And we just enjoy that sensation that is happening, and we try to stay with that feeling, not being carried away by other thoughts or thinking. So this is something that we can deepen for now, so that we can bring home, uh, so that we can continue to practice at home. So now I would like to invite the Sangha. We will enjoy one side of the bell, and we will breathe with that spirit within around 3 minutes. I would like to invite the Bell Master Sister to offer 3 minutes of silent mindful breathing, and we are invited to let go uh, of our thoughts which are present in us. 3 minutes is not that long. 3 minutes will go by quickly. So we I encourage you all to stay and enjoy our breathing. So breathing like that, it connects the mind with the body. Sometimes, not sometimes, many times, like the mind is often off from the body. So breathing like this, we reconnect the unison of the body and the mind. So I would like to invite the Sangha to enjoy our breathing fully, wholeheartedly. Now. Thank you so much for your practice. See, 3 minutes goes by quickly. I can't imagine 3 minutes went by that quick. So this is the way that I used to practice when I listen to the Dharma talk of Thầy. So whenever I listen to the Dharma talk, I will always breathe like this, and I don't have to wait and uh, to really practice. So as long as we come here and we are aware of the opportunity of being able to sit like this for 1 hour and a half, we just remain seated and we breathe. We breathe for ourselves. We breathe naturally. And after the Dharma talk, uh, we still experience a sense of ease and physical comfort within us. It means that we have gained something for our own body. It doesn't have to. It doesn't depend on the quality of the Dharma talk. So our mindful breathing sounds simple, but as long as we can sit and breathe like that, it gives us a lot of healing to ourselves. There are difficulties, there are suffering, and there are unsettledness, some griefs in us. We used to run away from them by doing this, doing that, and we look for many different ways to run away, to cover it up, to cover them up. And so that is why those suffering and difficulties become more and more bigger, and we don't know how to transform them. As long as we think of Plum Village and we are able to sit still again, and we follow our breathing, and just like what I was sharing, we don't have to do that much. We just sit and breathe like that, and naturally, slowly, our difficulties, our grief, our sorrow, our anxiety, suffering, slowly they will calm. They will calm down. So when they are able to calm down, we have the opportunity to see and transform them. We see the root of them and transform. I always ask Thầy why Thầy always encourages us to breathe, breathe, my dear, breathe, my dear, breathe, my dear, all the time. So that phrase is concise, just 3 words in Vietnamese. But the more that I practice that, I absorbed a lot the depth of that phrase, and that phrase contains the three canons, the sutra canons. As long as we are able to sit and breathe truthfully, whatever we think we have to do, we think that we will breathe, then we have to breathe. We have to breathe deeply, not superficially. We have to get down to the practice of breathing, and it's not something. It has to be the corn, or it's a way that can save our life. You have to see the breathing that way. We will be able to deepen our breathing, and we will discover the miraculous effects of the breathing, of the mindful breathing. The reason that I shared that because it is the real experience in me. Thanks to this mindful breathing, they really saved me from the sufferings and difficulties in myself. So every time that I encounter any difficulties, I always ask myself to sit still. Walking meditation is not the best for me when I have difficulty. I prefer sitting still. Every of us, we have our own appropriate practice to transform the difficulties. For my personal experience, whatever happens, as long as I can offer myself some time to sit still, then it offers me the way. I would like to tell you one of my experiences which helped me overcome my difficulties. I had a wonderful father, and I had great love to my father. So my father is a big fan. I am a big fan of my father. He's the big idol of mine. And in the Western culture, the the fact that we see our family members, when we see each other, we hug and we greet by hugging and kissing, is something very common, very normal. But for us in our culture, it's weird. It's weird to do that. But I remember every time that I got back from school, the first person that I came to hug and kiss is my father. I know that you will yeah, you know how big is my love to my father. So until 2009, mm, we when I had to go to Thailand to continue my practice as a nun, and I could not be able to bring a lot of stops over from Vietnam to Thailand. So I asked my father to send me some of other my stuff through another sister who was about to move to Thailand as well. My stops are not uh, um, a lot. It was just a kind of like English book and a few other books. And my parents, when they were on their way to the to the sister to send the stops, my my father got into an accident and she passed away during that accident. So in that moment when I heard that news, I could not accept that. I could not be able to accept this news. It's impossible to accept. And it was numb. I was totally numb. I didn't know what 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 I was supposed to do. So when I returned home immediately, I was unable to see my father because he was finishing the buried. He was like it was the end of the funeral. So I didn't have time to go to the hospital to take care of my my father. So within after that 6 months, I I couldn't I couldn't cry. I just knew that I what I'm supposed to do is to keep the energy of peace because I know that my family members really need my presence, my stability, my solidity in the practice. So that's why I really take refuge in my breathing to be the refuge for the rest of my family members. And afterwards, after the ceremony, after the funeral for my father, I I went back to the practice center in Thailand. Uh, and after I arrived in Thailand, and I begin to cry. Mm. I was able to transform the regrets, the guilt, the, the things, the different conditions that caused the death of my father. Because I asked my father to bring the stops from me, but because I asked my father to bring stops for me, that's why I was part of the region of the outcome that led to the passing away of my father. So I deep down in me there's that suffering, the guilt somehow is latent, but it's there, and it took me a lot of time to transform it. I I thought that after looking the practice of looking deeply, I transformed thoroughly already. That's what I thought. But somehow the last Ulambaba, the rose ceremony, the Mother Day in Vietnam, there was a sister read the letters that she wrote for her father. And in that letter, there are some points mentioned like, and lines are, I know that Father is always there, present for me, and uh, always ready to forgive me. And so when I listen to I heard those lines, I was crying deeply, and there was a lot of tears. So I asked myself, there should be something inside of me that is not that is still there, and I wasn't able to transform it yet. And I know that after 18 years as a nun, I still don't have the capacity to recognize the suffering, and I allow the time um, go by quite long, and so I offer myself a lot of time looking deeply into identifying what is the rest amount of that suffering that I was carrying inside of myself. And after I realized that, I just try my best to allow myself to have more time for myself. Whenever I have free time, I practice sitting meditation in following my in-breath and out-breath. I never expected that. Just by the sitting still, I see myself a lot. I could discover there are different parts in me that haven't been seen. And I identify them, I recognize their presence, and I gain more understanding on myself. And so for that certain period of time, it took me like a week. So I saved all the time that I have for that kind of contemplation. I didn't read book, I didn't listen to the other Dharma talks. I just focused on that only one practice, looking into myself. Then I realized that the book that I really need to read is the book that is inside of myself. I need to read that book of mind. I need to explore that book. I need to find what is there. So all the books and studies, researches were not as important as that inner book in me.
I sat there following my in-breath and feel that how the air is coming into my nostril, and I enjoyed that moment. I was very peaceful in that moment. And then suddenly I heard a voice from within myself, and it was very clearly. It was my father's voice. Every time my father wanted to remind me something, he used a very firm voice, and he said, "My youngest child, I am here. I'm inside of you. You don't need to look for me anywhere else." And I was startled because of that voice. I opened my eyes. I thought he was standing just right in front of me, but of course not. Right at that moment, I knew that my father within me was saying it to me, and I had a breakthrough. My father really didn't pass away at all. He was still inside of me. He is me. And I always wanted to look for a father who could continue to protect me, to be with me. Because when I was with my father, I was always peaceful and protected and understood. And I still wanted to have those things, and I couldn't accept that my father was already gone, and I thought I didn't have anyone to protect me anymore. So I grasped that kind of craving, that need. So my father's voice was just like the bell of mindfulness. very happy, and I remember that moment that I felt very, very light, very light, like I didn't have any feeling of missing, I didn't have any loss, there was nothing to lose because I am my father's continuation. All the cells in my body were transmitted to me from my father. So I have him in me, a lot of him in me. Why does I have to go and look for another father outside of me so that I could be protected and safe? So at that moment I was very, very grateful to my breathing, to my breath. At that very moment I felt so much the phrase that Thuy told us, just sit there and breathe, my child. We could spend a few hours just to breathe, to come back to the breathing, mindful of the breathing, be peaceful, dwelling in the breath. And sometimes we think it's just something very ordinary. And if we spend 15 minutes, we thought it's too much, and then we stay without breathing anymore. We're not patient without breathing. But only when something really pressing, pushing us to practice. And if we knew that this is the only way to help us at that very moment, that is the only way to help us to lift the suffering and the pain inside of us, only then that we know that it is the means for us to come back to practice. So after that, I realized that, for a long time I was searching for something to meet my needs. I couldn't accept my father's loss because I wanted to have the same thing, the same protection, the same love from him. It wasn't my love for him at all. It was just for me. And so after that experience of sitting still, I wrote, I recorded something in writing to reflect on my practice at that moment, because at that very moment many things came up. My father's image came up a lot, and a lot of things relating to that also coming up. But I was very determined to sit still and come back to myself and see and observe and see how they are coming up. And I want to see how my pain is functioning, because the energy that helps me to do it is my faith in my breathing, my mindful breathing, because I know if I hold on to this all, and then my boat will be steady. I could continue the practice. So I wrote it down, and I try. I practice a lot. I did a lot of rehearsal to sing this song to offer to you. I recorded it and I listened to it again, and it was really not good at all. So today I don't think I will sing to you, but I will just read it to you instead. So you know that my singing is not good at all. is a suffering in you. My dear pain, I have already understood you now. Dear suffering, come sit here with me. Breathe gently and find peace within. Now let me know what you want to say. Laugh with me. It's okay, just stay silent. Also, my love is like a gentle mother present for you. That's enough. My dear, I am already aware of you now. I am you and you are me. Let's live in peace. Let's step forward together. Don't worry anymore. My faith in the practice will be like a father protecting you. Sorrow and tears have turned into rains. Yes, I don't think I will sing. I feel for you, so I will sing. We have a small assembly. So dear Sangha, I share my own difficulties to you because actually until now I have realized that my own needs, the needs that are very deep inside, to have somebody who can understand me, protect me, love me, and take care of me, it is very subtle. It is very deep inside. And in each and every one of us, we do have that seed, that need. Because if you don't have that seed, you may not be very normal. Accept the Buddha, but the Buddha himself had that need also, but he transformed it. So that seed of need has been continued, has been manifested. Like when you are living in the world, you want to look for somebody to love, to take care of you, to get married, to have a partner. It's like you are looking for the other half of you. In songs, in poems, there are a lot of things like that. Like I have found my half, I'm not worried anymore, and so on and so forth. Lots of poems and songs are about this. And it's true that we are continuously searching. We're searching for someone who we think that can be our friend for life, who can understand us. And on our way of searching, we would encounter a lot of obstacles and difficulties. And sometimes we think we have found that person. We think that that person understands us very well, and really yield to us and please us in every way. And we think, oh, okay, this is our half. And we want to commit for life to that person. But once we come to live with that person, the situation is totally different. It's not like what we imagine. There's a story which is very real. And there's a couple, two loved each other for a long time, and the lady thought that her friend really understood her. In the beginning, she didn't think she would get married to him, but But then she thought he understood her and she yielded to her and everything, so she agreed to get married. But only after 2 days, 2 days after the wedding, she wanted to get a divorce. And I asked her, why? What wrong? Why you love each other so much? Why you want to get a divorce just only after 2 days? And she said, actually, I thought so, but it's not so. He didn't understand me at all. And he was just kind of deceptive toward me. And in fact, he was a heavy smoker. And because he loved me, he told me that he quit smoking. And I was very proud of him. I thought, oh, because of my love, he quit smoking. And I thought I was very helpful to him in that way. But then I realized that he didn't quit smoking at all. Only when he went out with me, he tried his best not to smoke, refrain from smoking. He suffered the whole day to quit smoke. But after he took me home, he smoked for a few cigarettes. So that was not working out. So she suffered a lot, and she realized that he was totally different. They had different preferences, like the sky and the abyss. Could not live together anymore. And then she wanted to search for somebody else to have the same frequency. Somebody who has the same preferences. Only then things will be perfect. So that is the reason why there are so many breaks down in relationship, and many children suffer because of that, because of those separations. What we are concerned about is what inside of us. We want this and we want that and we demand. In the monastery, I do have a friend. In the temple, in the monastery, everybody knows that because we have the same situation, we befriend. It's called same situation friends. However, the two are like a opposite in opposition in characteristics. Maybe they couldn't get together at all. Sometimes I stay with the same I stay in the same room with a sister, but we are totally the opposite. But we have to stay in the same room. And in the beginning, I thought, how could I play with this person? How could I spend time with this sister? After a while, I thought, oh, this is very interesting. I don't have that kind of characteristic, but she has. And then, because I felt interested, and I felt that it's interesting, I am curious to find out how different she is to me. And eventually we learned, we practiced to respect each other's differences so that we could love each other even though we are so different. I love her a lot. I'm not sure how much she loves me, but I see that I love her a lot. And I could feel that kind of love between two people who are not the same. I couldn't invite her to go into the forest to enjoy the falling leaves in the autumn because she's not in the same interest. I couldn't invite her to go and enjoy the sun, the full moon, the full moon, because we are so different. We are not related in that way, but we love each other. We live together peacefully, and we could be friends. And so, in your own family, when you go home, if you have a partner, and you say, "Oh, how come they are so different than me?" and you want to leave them, we don't want to accept them. Then maybe you can change the pack. Maybe you can try to explore how different they are compared to us, and you feel it's very interesting, and you can see that, oh, she has this character, they have this characteristic or that characteristic we didn't know before. Sometimes it's very boring to have something just exactly the same, just the same color. That is also great, but sometimes we also want to explore the differences. It's also very interesting. So if we can practice that way, we can save many children from broken family, instead of suffering because of the separation between fathers and mothers. They still can have a family, a happy family. And because we are searching all the time for somebody who really is alike to us. But if we think about our children, we think about our family's happiness, we can stop, accept, and together explore the differences in the family and accept. Like for us as monastics, we have our own needs. Occasionally, we also have the needs to have somebody to understand us, to love us. But luckily for us, we do have the practice. We have the protection of the Sangha, and all the activities in our daily life here help us to generate compassion, mindfulness in us, so that we could protect and take care of the seeds inside of us. Like I shared with you earlier, I had a realization that in myself I also have that need. I that relates I that makes me relate to something that I went through earlier in my lay life. I also went around searching for somebody who could love me and understand me. But fortunately for me at that time, I accepted it. I accepted myself. I was determined to learn to look inside of myself, to understand my demand, my expectation. And so I accepted that need in me. I accepted that I did have that need. I accept that I had that need. And so I looked deeply into it and be with myself, so that I could go through different stages in that search. And fortunately, also inside of me, I had the faith in the Sangha, in Thai, and in the practice. And I, later on as a monastic, I also had to go through that, to go through the process, to look for somebody outside of me. And because of that faith in Thai, in the Sangha, in the practice, I was able to overcome and that journey was very, very difficult, but also very interesting. It's interesting because it helped me to understand myself. I didn't deny myself, but instead I tried to learn about myself. When I was happy, when I was sad, when I was angry, many emotions coming up during that journey, during that search. And sometimes I lost myself. Sometimes I couldn't control myself. So I went past those stages with the practice. And that practice is coming back to myself, to love myself, to truly accept myself and love myself. So, in short, I realized that there's nobody outside of me who could understand and love me as I can understand and love myself. The other person could be there and help us to release a little bit of pain inside of us. But that person never could understand us properly, and we cannot ever understand the other person properly because all of us have our own difficulties, our own suffering, and each of us is going through the journey to look to understand our own self, and they are just the supporter. The only way is to come back to ourselves, the safest way, because we are the person who closest to us, to be with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-separation. If we die, that person die also. That is us. If we don't spend time to understand ourselves, but we put our time and energy to understand somebody else. So when we love, if we love somebody in a for immeasurable minds, it's different. But if we have somebody, we love them in such a way that we feel without them, we cannot live anymore. The world is ended. We always want to have that person together with us. Then that is a bondage kind of love. In fact, that need is very human. There's nothing wrong or there's no sin about that. It is just the reality of life. But as a practitioner, when we have a husband, a wife, or a partner next to us, we know that we have them, but we are also ourselves. We have our own space. We have our own things. And there are things that we need to respect within ourselves, and there are things that are very personal. We need to keep it for ourselves. So it is not because we always want to stay next to somebody and that person has to be with us. If that person has somebody else, then we just want to die. We want to commit suicide, and we feel so empty. And so, if that happens, if you are in that very moment, come back and feel that. Oh, feel for yourself. Why somebody outside of us that can cause so much suffering for us like that? Why we allowed ourselves to be up and down and suffer so much because of somebody outside of us? That person will not be able to shoulder the pain that we experience. If we are sick, for example, that person cannot feel the pain, or you have a heartache, that person would not be able to feel the pain you feel. Maybe they can say, oh, poor you, and do something for you, but they cannot feel that for you. You are the one who will be responsible for your suffering, for your pain, for anything that you are going through. So let's come back to love yourself. If amongst us here anybody has not respected yourself enough, not loved yourself enough, don't see that you are important enough, and neglect yourself a little bit, then at this very moment, in this assembly, you need to come back and embrace yourself. Know who you are and how you are right now, and accept yourself as you are at this very moment. I already shared this in a Dharma sharing session earlier, but I would like to share again. We usually just deny ourselves. We just want to search for something. Like myself, a few years ago, I usually practice a koan. I asked myself, who's Thuy Nghiem? What was Thuy Nghiem born for? And in my practice, I always went trying to look for the answer for that question. Who is Thuy Nghiem? One day I realized that, oh, Thuy Nghiem is nobody. Thuy Nghiem is Thuy Nghiem. Right in this very moment, in this sacred moment, I am myself in this very moment with all the sufferings, difficulties, habit energy, very strong habit energies. That is me. And I accept them all. I love my habit energies. I love my unwholesome habit energy. But I also see that Thuy Nghiem is also a very kind and nice person. And I love that person too. And this is a koan that I spent 14 days to find the answer for myself with the question, who's Thuy Nghiem? In that moment I remember I lie down 3 o'clock. I couldn't, 3 o'clock in the morning. The moon was bright and I couldn't sleep. That question was still in my mind. And I lie down on my bed. Suddenly I felt so good. Oh dear, I spent so long time to search for the answer who Thuy Nghiem is. But here is this person. This person is here right now. This is Thuy Nghiem. I failed to see. So there's moments of practice like that. Very funny. When I had that realization, suddenly I had an immense love for myself. And I wanted to make myself more beautiful. I want to make myself lighter and more happy. And so everything I do, every action I make, I see that me, I am with myself. I am aware of myself. I don't need to take more rubbish into my mind, myself. In daily life, of course, the Sangha will have this and that happening. I will say, oh, okay, one more thing happening. And then I will just go with the flow. I leave it. And that's the way I love myself. I don't allow things outside entering myself anymore. I would recognize it happening and I find that it's interesting and I will explore it. I accept how it is. Like yourself outside, you accept your life to have partner in your life, your work and so on and so forth. So you just accept it and go with the flow and live your life. Enjoy because nothing will stop. Everything will just continue. Life will not stop. So whenever something happens, we say, okay, something else happening. And then we look into it, we solve it, and we will continue. And that is my my key of secret, and that helps me to sleep very well. One more thing I like to share with you about our sleep. thanks to the mindful breathing. When we find it difficult to fall asleep, our sleep is very important, as everybody knows. When we lie down, we come back to our breathing. Just follow our breathing. Don't worry about, oh, I wanna fall asleep. Our difficulty and our struggle is because we want to sleep and we cannot sleep, and we wake up and we feel very tired. So we can change the attitude. We say, okay, I just lie down here. I just follow my breathing. Sleeping or not sleeping doesn't matter. I still have a chance to be with myself tonight. And if you can do it like that in the morning, you will feel very, very fresh, even though you don't have a lot of sleep. But the miracle is when you follow your breathing like that, when you're peaceful like that, the sleep will come. So time is up. So I would like just to share with you today the miracle of our breathing, of our mindful breathing, our mindful breath, and the functions of our mindful breathing is to help us to transform at the base our suffering, our afflictions. So please bring the mindful breathing practice to your home. Tomorrow when you're leaving here, maybe you can leave everything here. Everything you learn, you can leave it back here. Just bring the mindful breathing home with you. Bring that practice home with you. Continue the practice, and then you will see it more clearly. You hear me today, but if you don't put it into practice, it's just like on the outer form. It will not have anything to do with you. So you need to put it into practice. Thank you very much for sitting here and supporting me in my sharing today. I feel very happy, light, as I am done with the Dharma talk.
Dạ, con kính cảm ơn đại chúng.